Inspector Morse and his sidekick Lewis, still solving crimes. 8:30 Friday, ITV1.
What is Cross-Stitch Magic? It's a new fortnightly magazine collection for people who enjoy doing cross-stitch. It's full of exciting new ideas and easy-to-follow instructions. With every issue, you get a cross-stitch kit like this, containing everything you need to make something special. You get 8 pattern charts like these, and with every other issue, you get an iron-on transfer that you can use in lots of different ways. With issue 1, you get all this for only £1.99. That is Cross-Stitch Magic.
We want to change a car. I know what I'm after.
We're not sure what we want yet.
At Carland, you'll find a huge range of all your favourite makes and models.
When I buy a car, I want to know it's safe, in good condition.
At Carland, all our cars are inspected to AA standards, giving you complete peace of mind.
Along with a huge choice of fully checked cars. When you buy a car from Carland this Easter, you'll get free buy and fly points, which you can exchange for flights and other amazing travel offers. Hurry, this must end on Easter Monday. See local press for details.
This is Carlton. Don't forget, we'll be chatting to Typhon, voted off the island in Survivor, after the news.
Football clubs under pressure as ITV Digital goes into administration. Naomi Campbell comes clean about drugs after winning in court. Dudley Moore loses his fight against brain disease. And Fowler scores, but what did England learn against Italy?
The ITV News with Dermot Monaghan.
Good evening. The loss-making pay TV company ITV Digital was put into administration this afternoon, meaning its management was handed over to accountants. They'll now try to renegotiate its contract with the Football League. ITV Digital, owned by Granada and Carlton, owes £178 million, but says it can only afford £50 million, and that could spell bankruptcy for some of the nationwide league clubs. Chris Choi has the full story.
It took just a short hearing to put ITV Digital into the hands of court-appointed accountants today. The pay TV company has failed to reduce the heavy cost of soccer coverage, making it financially unviable.
Our role is to continue negotiations with suppliers in an attempt to reduce the cost base of the business. If the process is successful, the ITV Digital platform will be preserved for the future.
The high cost of soccer broadcasting rights became the focus of ITV Digital's problems. So far, owners Carlton and Granada have invested £800 million in the venture. They'd agreed to pay £315 million for Football League coverage, but ITV Digital still owes £178 million and says it can only afford £50 million, an offer that's been rejected. ITV Digital hasn't reached the 1.7 million subscribers it needs to break even. Today, the company's boss reassured customers services will continue and left the door open for a deal.
We want to continue to work with the Football League in order to achieve a settlement which can work for them and can work for us so that we can continue our partnership in some form.
But the league is fighting for clubs like 3rd Division York City. Its facilities reveal how it totters close to closure. Escalating players' salaries and decreasing sponsorship have made things tough. Without the ITV Digital payout, things will get much worse.
I would be amazed if they can pull out and walk away from it. I mean, effectively, if they do, they're condemning probably half the clubs in the Football League to being buried with an ITV Digital gravestone.
Today, ITV Digital was accused of acting in an unprincipled way. But the company says that its problems only illustrate that the era of sky-high soccer deals is now over. And tonight, football clubs are under fresh pressure to return to negotiations. Government believes digital TV is vital for our media future. The Culture Secretary is now leaning on the league to act.
My message to those clubs is to keep talking and to keep negotiating. I think it's also important to say that many of the financial difficulties that football faces predate this deal.
The company's broadcast will continue as administrators now seek a rescue deal in a clash that will affect the future of both TV and soccer in Britain. Chris Choi, ITV News.
The supermodel Naomi Campbell was awarded £3,500 damages and costs today in her breach of confidentiality case against the Mirror newspaper. It had published details of her therapy at Narcotics Anonymous. The judge called Miss Campbell a liar about her drug addiction, but said even self-publicists were entitled to some privacy. Nina Nana reports.
Naomi Campbell had been branded a liar in court, but Mirror editor Piers Morgan today learned that it was he who'd be paying up £3,500 in damages. The supermodel had sued the Mirror for printing details of her treatment at Narcotics Anonymous for drug addiction. The judge, Mr Justice Morland, said it was acceptable for the paper to reveal her addiction, but other details breached confidentiality. He continued, it does not follow that even with self-publicists, every aspect and detail of their private lives a legitimate quarry for the journalist. They are entitled to some space of privacy.
And it's clearly a landmark decision. The case establishes that if you're in the public eye, whether through choice or inadvertence, you're nevertheless entitled to protection for your private life.
The judge has branded her a deliberate liar on oath. That is perjury. She may well face very serious criminal charges as a result of what's happened here. She's won £3,000. Now, supermodels like to say they don't get out of bed for 10,000 quid. Well, by that reckoning, she hasn't got enough to roll back the bedclothes.
Naomi Campbell's is the latest in a number of high-profile privacy cases involving celebrities. Media commentators say although the amount of damages was small, today's ruling is a warning.
Many lawyers will be looking on behalf of their high-profile clients at the possibility of perhaps using this judgment to enter into actions against newspapers. I think that editors are going to have to watch their backs.
Naomi Campbell's lawyers may be claiming this is a victory on principle for the supermodel, but the Mirror editor says his publication will continue to run stories about celebrities in the same way it always has. Naomi Campbell, however, has paid in terms of her reputation, with details about her troubled life and erratic behaviour emerging from the hearing. Today, others said fame had its price.
You can't be in this business and expect people to give you all the attention you want when you want it and none when you don't want it. And I've always been of the opinion you have to take the good with the bad.
The Mirror says it's still deciding on any further legal action. Nina Nana, ITV News at the High Court.
Well, Naomi Campbell wasn't in the High Court for the ruling today. She was in Los Angeles, and it was there that she talked exclusively to ITV News about her drug addiction and the outcome of the court case. Our senior correspondent Mark Austin has this report.
Naomi Campbell, the tempestuous supermodel who's taken on the tabloids, spoke today of her relief that the High Court case is finally over.
It's not about victory, it's about that it's the step forward in privacy for people who need it, for whatever reasons they need it for.
Now, you've won this case, but at some cost, because the judge has said that he's satisfied that you lied on oath in court. What do you say about that?
I think it was misleading what I said, but I didn't want to add additional focus to another problem that was personal to me and it was private. So I didn't go into what happened to me medically, and I didn't want to bring more focus to it. And I do apologize to the judge for that.
Do you not agree that if someone courts publicity, that they've got to put up with the bad coverage as well as the good coverage?
Absolutely. I've had my fair share of putting up with the bad, and maybe in some cases I provoked the bad by being the way I was. So in taking the steps to go and fix myself and do what I needed to do to make changes in my life, why does that have to be considered bad, or why does it have to be put on the front cover of a newspaper with a headline that's made to make you feel ashamed? I felt raped.
So seeing yourself in that photograph, you felt raped, did you?
Yeah, I did.
You said in court, once an addict, always an addict. Is that how you think?
You have to watch every day, one day at a time.
But do you think you're over the worst?
But I'm not using now, so I know the tools of how to take care of myself. That's what I know. And I hope to stay on this road. I don't want to relapse. I think if there was a time that I could have relapsed, it would have been during this whole thing.
Can you say with confidence that you're over drugs?
I can say that I'm over drugs today because that's how the program is. You have to go day by day. And that's how I am today. I'm sober and I'm happy. That's how I live day by day.
Temperamental outbursts like this confrontation with a passenger on an aircraft have dogged Naomi Campbell's career. Today she claims some of her controversial behaviour was down to her addiction.
That was the old Naomi, and I do admit that probably had a lot to do with my addiction, my irrational behaviour. You can't blame anyone else for your actions. You make the decision to do what you're going to do. And in my case, I chose to do drugs. It's my decision. I blame no one but myself. But then I also chose to take care of myself. And I wasn't given that right to be able to do so with privacy.
But people would say, had you been honest about your addiction in the first place, none of this would have happened.
Addiction is something, again, that I say, you have to first realize that you have an addiction. People go years without wanting to admit to themselves that they have an addiction.
So how long have you been off drugs?
I care to keep that private.
Mark Austin, ITV News, Los Angeles.
And you can see more of Mark Austin's interview with Naomi Campbell on the Tonight programme on ITV1 at 7:30 tomorrow. A suicide bomber killed at least 15 people and wounded more than 100 tonight in the Israeli resort of Netanya. He blew himself up in a hotel where people were gathering for a ritual meal marking the start of the Passover holiday. Our Middle East correspondent John Irvine reports on one of the deadliest attacks of the Palestinian uprising.
For Israelis, this was sacrilege as well as slaughter. For this is the night of the ritual dinner heralding the start of Passover, a hallowed date in the Jewish calendar. But there's nothing sacred these days. The Palestinian suicide bomber laid waste to the ground floor of a hotel, which was crowded.
At 7.